Good evening, everyone. This is Debbie Wetzler. I'm coming to you from Maryland still. This Friday, I will be flying to Colorado. So if you know anybody in the Colorado area and would like to get information to them or any of the surrounding areas, please just let me know. However, we wanted to welcome you. This is a training for people who have already gone through Amazing Molecules and looked at it and know the basics, but want some other questions answered about what to do in the back office, what to say, how to create interest, just any question that you might have. And so one question was already brought up. I'm not quite sure how to create interest and really talk about this. And so I was going to call on some of the people that have been doing this for a while because it's always nice to hear from more people than one about how you create interest. So I'm going to call on Buffy Donahue, and I would love you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background also as you're doing this. And I'm going to mute myself while you go, Buffy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Debbie. I appreciate the opportunity. I live in Virginia, and I'm a naturopath, and I'm board certified in complementary and alternative health. And I was actually getting ready to open up a practice in my city, and I was loading my shelves with different things that I was going to be offering to my clients. And a good friend of mine called and said, I know you're getting ready to open up a practice and you're loading things up, and I want you to stop because you might not need the good majority of that. You might just need this one technology. And that really puzzled me. And I said, well, I'm looking at some other things right now, so I need to finish up my checking on this, and then I'll get back to you. And as things happen, we forget and we don't, and set that aside. And it came back around to me again. And I then realized I've had this introduced to me a couple of times, and I really need to look at it because I've had two people that I respect highly and love dearly share this with me and take their time. And so I looked at it and went to have a good looked at the science, and tried the product myself. And I had a personal experience with it that just stopped me cold in my tracks. And personally, I had a tailbone issue going on for about 5 years. And I went from not being able to sit down flat to actually, I would compensate for that. And so I would sit on my hips, and I created a hip issue. And I was in physical therapy 3 days a week for a long period of time. I was having adjustments. I was doing lots of different things, minerals, supplements, working on myself, having a lot of other people work on me. I got in front of a lot of smart people, and we put our heads together to try to figure out why my pelvis wasn't working properly, why I was in such pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, I was 8 to 10 every day. And I just stopped sitting down. It's hard to live your life without sitting down. And when you can hear someone wince in pain when they get up from a seated position, and you're in another room in the house, or you're in the basement and they're upstairs, that's some significant pain. And I wasn't even 50. And I had an image into chronic, long-term, severe pain. And I started drinking ASEA Redox, and within 8 days, my pain was gone. Gone. And it hasn't come back. And I can't explain that. The only explanation I have is that was a journey meant for me, that I was supposed to have that journey so that I can do what I normally do, which is anytime I have an experience and I'm going through it and I'm struggling, I'm actually grateful for that, because that helps me as a practitioner. So I know I've been there, and I can tell someone, I've been where you're at, and I've had some success with that. Let me hold your hand. Let me help you through that. I can show you the way out. And so this experience is no different than that. And so I am so extremely passionate about this, because I have nothing else that I can offer someone that is so pure, so targeted, and so perfect. And so now when people come to me and they say, will you be my practitioner? I say, well, I'd love to, but I don't think you're going to need one. And so I'll tell them, instead of consulting with me, let's do this. Instead of you spending that on me, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do 90 days with this new technology. And I call it a success protocol. I call it the 90-day success protocol. And so I tell them this product is just foundational. We create something in our bodies that there's nothing else on the market that is the same. We can take a drink, we can take nutritionals, but until we get the cellular communication working properly, we may just have expensive urine. And I go into it, obviously telling them what it's all about and sharing some tools with them. Debbie.
Okay, so you're a naturopath. She wants to know, like, if you're out and they don't know you're a naturopath,
Yeah.
how would you create interest with somebody? Because she's a new person and she doesn't have people coming to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how would you create interest?
I do it really fast. I do it in the grocery store if I'm in line, and I will strike up a conversation with someone, and I'm just naturally, I love people and I'm a friend collector. I strike up a conversation with them, and they may, if they don't say, if they do say, what do you do? I say, I'm working with an international biotech company, and it is the most important health and wellness discovery that we have ever experienced. And so then they'll say, well, what is that? And I'll say, it's redox. Have you heard of it? And they'll say, no, what is that? So I say, well, there's a little bit of education that goes along with it. I'd love to share some information with you, and I have a 4-minute video that I can let you watch, and that may pique your interest and explain a general overview of that. Can I get your information? And so I hand them my phone, and they fill out their information in my phone because I use the Genie app, and I love the Genie app. So I have them fill that out, and I send them my favorite video right now that I'm just using the heck out of, and I'm so grateful for Dr. David Silverman. I'm using the video that he calls For Someone You Love. So it's www.forsomeoneyouLove.com. And a lot of times I will say to them, do you have 4 minutes? Can you watch it? And I'll tell them, open it up on your phone. I'll open it up on my phone. I'm going to turn mine on mute, and we'll listen on yours. So I'm in the experience with them. Instead of them thinking I'm just sitting there tapping my foot, waiting for the video to be done, we're both looking at our phones, but listening to the audio on theirs. And then when that's done, I say, does that look like something you'd like to know more about? And every person I've asked that to has said yes. And so I say, well, okay, you probably have a few questions that raised. So there's a 14-minute video that is more than likely going to answer all of those questions. And if they have a moment, we'll watch that together. If they don't, I will give them that video, but I set up the time to connect with them in another 24 hours. And I'll tell them, I just want to get their review on it. Everybody loves to give reviews on Amazon or wherever. And I find that, people, oh, sure, I'll give a review. And they tell me what they think of it. And I get to ask them questions. What most resonated with you? What did you find most interesting about that? And so then we just carry on the conversation that way. So that's how I generate interest. And I get their information right away because they're curious to know what is the biggest health and wellness breakthrough of our lifetime. And that's generally how I do that.
Thank you, Buffy.
Welcome.
And I think I probably said this in the meeting in Bethesda, that I virtually was so excited when I flew home with what I'd seen that I just called everybody I loved and knew and said, I don't care what you do with this, but there is an extraordinary breakthrough that's come about, unlike anything else. And I'd really love you to learn about it because I care about you so much. Will you take a few minutes to watch a video? Because there's various videos. I always send the redox breakthrough on amazingmolecules.com. I love to have one simple website to send them to, and that tells you all about redox. But then if they're interested, they can scroll down and they can see the beginning of the company. They can see athletic stuff. They can see the compensation plan if they're interested. It's got all the studies right there. So they can take what they want out of that site. But it's real simple to go there, and the first thing that pops up is the redox breakthrough. And so I asked them if they would watch it. They said yes. I did exactly what Buffy said. I said, okay, then I'm going to call you tomorrow and get all your questions answered because you're going to have some. This is a scientific breakthrough. I just told them what I was doing. And then every day I would call with Cindy Buck on the phone. That's who sponsored me. And she would answer all the questions, and I would make sure that they get their questions answered. And a lot of them said, sounds like the Fountain of Youth. I'd love to try it. And that's how I got started. So anyway, I know I see Betty on. Betty, are you there? I know you've been signing up a lot of people. Nancy, would you like to just tell our new people here how you create interest when you go out?
Sure. As one of our friends, Michael, says, Nancy always has her tube on her. So I do. When I play bridge at this bridge club, and there's, you know, a lot of kind of older people in there, and they all have their aches and pains. And today, again, someone's like, oh, my thumb, I can't move my thumb. Hey, you want to try something? And we do it. And I said, you know, how bad does it hurt you now? We're going to do this 3 times in 5 minutes. And mostly always, they said, wow, it feels different. You know, so I'm still working on the rest of it, but I have that part.
Debbie, you're muted.
Thank you. After they say that feels different, do they want to know more, or do they just say thank you?
You know, it's kind of mixed. We're having David Silverman come soon, so of course I have the flyers with me too. And I said, here's how you can learn a lot more about this. And some of them we had more conversation. You know, a couple of them half started. So
you might have to help spur the conversation on and just say, are you curious about how this works so quickly?
Okay.
And get them talking, because unless, you know, they don't know what else. I mean, they might ask you where you can get some, but they don't know what else is. It's like handing them Bengay and they feel better. So then they go, okay, thank you. But you might have to start the conversation.
Yeah, someone's like, well, arnica works just as good or something. I've had that happen a lot.
Right.
Oh, right.
But then you might have to say, you know, well, this arnica might work really well for discomfort. However, this is actually healing, allowing your body to heal itself, so you don't have the discomfort come back. Okay. You might have to be a little bit more proactive with asking questions after that, because that's what I've found it when to begin with. If I rubbed it on and their pain went away, a lot of times they don't ask anything else. They just go, thanks.
Right.
And you want them to want to know, at least know more. And you know, if somebody asks me what I do, I say I travel the world educating people about a cellular regenerative technology that's 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. And I haven't seen a health issue yet that we haven't seen remarkable results with. You know, so when you say something like that, you'll find out. They'll either go, oh, that's nice. You'll go, yeah, it is, see ya. Or they'll go, oh, what is it? And then I always say, are you serious about wanting to know more about it? Because it's a little scientific, and I will send you a tool, a video, so that you can see it, and then I'll call you to get your questions answered. But I want to make sure that you want to know more about it. I don't want to waste my time or yours. Would anyone else like to share? I see Ellen on, and she's Rob's sister. Would anyone else like to share what they say to create interest? I'm doing this a little bit more interactive tonight.
Sure, I can go, Debbie. This is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
I say I have come across a scientific breakthrough, a very significant advanced health technology that is 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. And it is in the order of the discovery of penicillin and the DNA. Any kind of health challenges you can think of, we're seeing amazing results. And we are looking for key people who want to be part of something big and purposeful and help us bring this product to market international. Would you mind taking a look and see who comes to mind?
And that's perfect. You're asking them, you know, for a referral and hoping that maybe they might be the ones that they point to.
Right.
So, um, so that's a great way to do it. So what do you say though, Michael, if somebody asks you what you do, if you're in a conversation with somebody?
That's exactly what I say.
Okay, you just say the same thing. All right.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
All right. Perfect. All right. Is there anyone else who has been doing this for a little while who would like to share how they create interest? I mean, if somebody's got obvious pain or they're limping or something like that, you know, you can always look at them and say, if I know a way that might be able to help you with that limp or that pain or whatever, would you want to know more about it? I always ask permission, because some people will say no. They just want to go to a doctor and have whatever, but most, I'd say 99% of the people say yes, of course. And then I get their permission to send a video, because you always have to have them wanting to see it or they're not going to watch it. So did that help a little bit? This is Rob's mom. I guess that's Rob's mom. So I was asking you if that helped a little bit. Does it help?
Yeah. Now, what happened when they try the Renew 28 and they like it and they buying it, and what I do now? They're buying it.
Okay.
They bought 2 bottles. Okay, now them 2 bottles that will last forever. That's for sure.
Right.
So should I approach her to sign up or to be an associate or?
Well, I always do that. I always say, okay, let's get you your own account so you can get it wholesale anytime you'd like to order it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it for the same price that I get it then. And I make sure that they know also there's a liquid form of it that can make the insides feel like the outside of their body. Yeah. And so then I sit down and they'll say, okay, and then I sit down and explain the different accounts that they can get. They can get, you know, an associate, you know, but I always ask, I mean, this is an easy question to ask. If this works like you just felt it did, and you know, if it continues to work and you heal, would you ever tell anybody about this? Would you ever want to share this with anybody? If they say yes, then I say, okay, let's just go ahead and get you an associate account, because then you're able to share it. And I can also say, I mean, just depending on how active you are and stuff like that, because I never tell a story or anything. But I always create a sense of urgency, and I just say, listen, if you're going to share this, you might as well. The timing is here. We're signing up many people, and you may not decide to ever do this, but if you get in now, I'm pretty much on fire. I'm telling people about this all the time. And if you get in now, you don't even know the compensation plan, but I'll be putting people underneath you that you will benefit from the volumes of.
See, that's one more another thing. How do you guys do put people under anybody else if I don't even know the person that you put in under me? How does it work?
Well, let me share my screen a second then and show you the binary tree so you'll understand that, because that's something that you need to understand. Yeah. I'm not putting them underneath. Well, like I said, let me just share this.
Yeah, I teach skincare.
So if I go to the menu and I go to the...
It's different with Mary Kay Cosmetic, because I teach skincare with Mary Kay Cosmetic, and it's so much easier to understand it.
Well, just look at this, okay? So this is my tree.
Look,
There you go.
okay.
This is my tree, and I'll show you to in just a second. I'm just going to go down maybe 20 levels, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm at the top,
Okay.
and here is my left side, okay? So my son was first, and then my daughter's there, and it continues to go on down the tree.
You know.
So the
Mhm.
first person I signed up was my son. I wanted to get my kids in because I knew I was going to build this. I knew I was just going to continue to build and build and build. And so on my left side, he's the first one. Now, the next person I signed up was Elaine. She went underneath him, but she's signed up by me.
Keep going.
Okay, so who
Yeah.
benefits? Who's benefiting?
Okay,
You
hang
or
on
your
just a
son?
second. Hang on just a second. Then I
Okay.
signed up my daughter. She was underneath Elaine and Alex, signed up by me. Then I
Okay.
signed up Elizabeth Zachariah. She was actually the molecular biologist I always talk about. She signed up underneath my daughter and my son and Elaine, okay? So I was putting in these people.
Yeah.
Now, anytime Elizabeth orders a case, that gives everybody 100 points. So the 100 points goes through Jacqueline, it goes through Elaine, it goes through Alex, and it comes to me, and then it continues to go up to Cindy Buck, to Chuck and Tammy Gates, to everybody. Everybody gets 100 points.
Okay. Okay.
If you are doing the business, that's
Uh-huh.
great because you get 100 points that you can be paid on. If you're not doing the business, it just rolls on up and you don't ever get paid on it.
Oh, I see. But the other people will. If they are working, they will.
If they are working, they will.
Okay.
That's why this compensation plan I think is one of the fairest and one of the most fun, because if you're on a team and you're on a team that's actively building, and you are, then you're going to get gifts occasionally called spillover. And so on my other side, these were all the people. Cindy Buck was on fire. This saved 3 of her best friends' lives. So she signed up Barbara Shapiro and Barbara Button and Scott. She signed up all these people before I ever put Peggy Hart in. And I was getting the volumes from those people. So that's why there is a sense of urgency. You want to put the people that you love the most in first, if you can, if they want to join you in this, because everybody else you sign up will be either underneath them on that side, or they'll be on the other side. So they won't get everybody. But, and it depends on when they get in. So you can say to them, you can either get in now ahead of all the other people I'm signing up later this week, or you can be underneath them. That's your choice. People get that, and they, most of the time they go, well, put me in. They're going to try it anyway. They go, put me in. So you create a sense of urgency, because this is growing really fast now. I can tell you that.
Okay. So
Do they have to make a monthly order,
yeah,
like a
do
minimum?
Do they have to make a minimum order every month?
Nobody ever has to make a minimum order if they're an associate, but if you're doing the business, you do. So if you're doing the business, in order to get paid, you have to have at least 100 points go through your personal volume. So that's why the auto ship is there. So we can have the 100 points and you can try the product, and then you get paid. And that's why you can write all of that off your taxes, because if you don't order that case, then you don't get paid. And so you can take that right off your taxes.
Okay, so if you skip 1 month and then you go back again, does it work the same? If you skip, like if you don't.
If you skip a month, okay, so I don't know how often you've looked at your back office, but let me show you.
I don't even know how to go to the back office.
Well, you need to know this if you're doing the business. So
I know, that's
your
why
login and stuff. Okay, so see the points I have. Hang on, it's still thinking.
it's so
Okay.
hard to see it. Okay.
See the points I have on my left side here and on my right side?
Well, yeah, but I cannot. Okay. Yeah.
I have 14,000 so far this week on my left side and 67,000 on my right side. If I did not order a case in a month, all of that would go to zero.
It will come out. You lose it.
You lose it, right?
You lose it all. If you
You
don't
lose
order
it all. That's right. So if you don't order a case every month, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're not doing the business. That's what I'm saying. But if you're doing the business, you need to order a case a month.
Okay. Well, if I don't know. Right, yeah, if I drink it, if we use it ourselves.
I'm using it
you can,
myself anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and everybody, I go through 2 cases a month. I drink 2 cases. I always have. But anyway, so that's what happens. And as you can see, I've got a very big right side. So I have 3 million points over there. Do I want to lose that 3 million points? No. So I, of
so
course,
what's
order
the
a
point?
case every month.
You get the product.
Pardon me?
What do you do with the points?
You get paid on them.
You get paid, not getting product.
No, you get paid on these points. That's how you get paid in this business.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't think you guys, if you go to amazingmoleculestraining.com and just go through the little simple steps of it, that I think will help you a lot, because obviously I don't think you have. So
No,
let me show you that. That's the requirement to come on this class, so that you are asking questions that other people.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
well,
No, that's okay.
I know.
Because most people know all this stuff.
Okay, well, I know. I don't because I had not got into
And
it.
yeah, I completely understand. So if you go to Amazing Molecules Training, here's the Fast Start training. This tells you all about how to create interest and all that kind of stuff. Down
Okay.
below that, it says click here to discover, these are some scripts that you can say on how to create interest.
Okay.
Discover what to say to leave your process wanting to know more. Here's your at-a-glance guide summarizing the simple yet effective cycle access. And here's your tools. So this tells you where the webinars and everything like that are, okay? And then you go to training after the Fast Start training. You listen to that. And it will tell you, this is loading slow. There's the usage guides. Here's the training overview. Here's the commissions. And additional trainings are down here.
Okay.
So this gives you a lot of your basic foundation. And all you have to do is go to amazingmoleculestraining.com. Now, to go to your website, do you have your website information?
Which one is it? My website?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you go here, you click on login.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll pop up. And you can put in your user number, which is what I always use, or your name.
Okay.
And then you put your password in, and then you click log in.
Yeah.
And then it pops up with what you need to be your next level.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you're a director or if you're an associate, you haven't signed up anybody, your next step would be to be a director. And they would tell you need to sign up two people, one on your left side and one on your right side.
Okay.
And then you'd be a director.
Okay, gotcha.
And then your loyalty points are here. I have 65 points right now. I could go redeem those points, or I can wait until it builds up. You need 100 points to get a case. This would give me a half a case. The Ascent is over, so there's nothing up here about Ascent. Here's how you click on a fast forward. That means you're going to sign up 4 people in 2 weeks with 8 cases. Then you win money and prizes and a free case of product.
People in 2 weeks. Okay.
And here's about your loyalty points. So then you have a line up here, and the dashboard is where I go every day to see where my business is. So that tells you your points and how many people you have underneath you, and it tells you what rank you are and who sponsored you and if you're active and binary qualified, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So the dashboard is something that you should be, kind of going to every day if you're doing the business, basically. And at first, it's not going to have very much on it. It's going to be, just probably a lot of zeros to begin with. But as you slowly add people to your group, and then they start adding people, and they start adding people, it starts growing pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I have about 100 people coming in a week at this point on both my sides, and mine is constantly changing. But I've also been in for 8 years. So anyway, that's your back office. That's your basic place to go look. And then I've been teaching about all these different reports on all these different classes. So I have them recorded, and if you have a Facebook page, if you go to, I've created a team Facebook page for everybody on my team. And it's called Debbie's Diamond Club. I'll make sure you're a member. But, and I post, like I will be posting this recording tonight on it. I've posted the team phone call from last night, Monday night, on here. I posted that I'm doing a new training tonight. So that was that. There's my ASEA story. Anything that's going to be, Dr. Carolyn Hoffman interviewed Jackie Wetzler last night, Wellness Wednesdays, when we do our webinars. This is for our team, and it gives you notices of what's happening. So like tomorrow, we'll be doing these presentations. I'll do it with Dr. David Silverman. We do them at 1 o'clock and we do them at 9 p.m. You're welcome to bring guests, and we do a whole presentation, and then we answer questions. So it's a built-in 3-way phone call right there. So if you can say, are you interested in learning? We have a live webinar on tonight. And you'd easily learn in just a half an hour or so, a lot about this product. And then there's a doctor and another lady who's been using the technology for 9 years, and they can answer your questions. And it's the same Zoom number.
Can you have a basic knowledge of all this and still be like build slowly, or do you have to know everything all at once?
I didn't know anything. I just wanted to get started.
Okay.
All I did was say, I have learned about something that's extraordinary, and I really care about you, and I'd love you to know about this, because I don't know when you might need it or somebody you love might need it. Will you watch a video? That's all I ever said. And they said yes. And I said, okay. And I'd send them the video. We only had one at the time. They'd watch it, and I would tell them, I'm going to call with somebody on the phone who can answer your questions. And I always called with Cindy or Tammy or somebody like that on the phone, and I listened to them, and that's how I learned. I listened to them answer questions. I listened to them answer objections. I listened to them do all of that, and I heard it over and over and over again until I could be the expert for my people.
Yeah.
But again, I always say this, they didn't know me as a redox expert. They knew me as an interior designer at the time or as a server when I lost my job. And so why were they going to listen to me about redox? They weren't. But they listened to Cindy because they didn't know she wasn't an expert. So you don't have to know anything to get started. Yes, Nancy?
To backtrack just a little, so after you do the gel and it works, and they say, oh, can I buy a tube? What do you do when
That's my question too.
because I'm telling them I don't really stock this. You can order and get it yourself and get it, have your own account and get it when you need it.
Well, you can say that, but you could say, you could just bring up, you know, this is a huge area of science, what's in this tube. And
Okay.
what I know, what my daughter's been doing, and this is what I have yet to print off yet, but I'm going to do this. You could print off, I mean, I sent out, and I've got the photos, the Science Congress that's taking, the Redox Congress that's taking place in June in Paris.
Right.
Print that off. You could print off the redox research centers at Harvard, Cornell, Vanderbilt, the Medical University of South Carolina, and the University of Nebraska at Omaha. You could print those out. You could print out the Lancet Medical article from Dr. James Watson and just say, here, this is a huge area of science. This is the only company in the world that's been able to make and stabilize these molecules. And if you learn more about it, there is a liquid also that helps the inside of your body just as much as this is helping the outside. I suggest maybe you learn a little bit more about it, and we can set up your account so that you could, you know, get this gel right now. But in the meantime, if you learn a little bit more about the liquid and some of the stuff going on, you might be interested. And you can also tie them into a See a Healthy Self on the Facebook page, and they can. I've had so many people go through that and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. How do I get this stuff?
Right.
Just from reading all through all the testimonials there.
Thank you.
So just to enlarge their vision a little bit about what this is, it's not just a tube of Bengay, it's a it's a whole science. So just kind of bring up that. And if they're, you know, if they're really not, I don't need to know all that, I just want a tube. Okay. Well, I do have extra tubes around. I don't even bother with an account and stuff. I'll sell them a tube. You know, and if they finally get curious, and say that, if you finally get curious at some point, I do try to get their information. I have a drip list, well, that's what it's called. Those wonderful little, very short tidbits that Trish Winkler sends out in her newsletter every single week. Did you know? I will send them one of those once a week or so. Did you know this increases glutathione by 800%? Do you know what glutathione does for you? Did you know that this increases blood circulation by over 50% and it stays up for 96 hours? Did you know that this helps cells regenerate 16% faster? One of those things that I send them is going to make them interested enough to want to know more. So I collect people, as we say, and I put them into an email distribution list. And then once a week or once every 2 weeks, I send them a little bit more information. And they're so short, it's you know, it's not very big, so they usually read it right then if they're going to. And you know, like I said, something ought to attract their attention.
Mhm.
So it takes a little bit more effort, but I mean, if you, depending on what you want, what your why is, if your why is to get to and have the diamond life, it's a nice place to be, then you do a little bit more effort on getting people and keeping people interested.
I got it. I think I got it.
Okay.
I don't have the lot of time. That's no problem. It's not. I don't have all the time that I can devote myself 100%.
Well, I had 20 minutes a day, literally. I worked from 10 in the morning and I worked till midnight or 1 or 2. So in that 20 minutes, the only thing I ever did was called probably 3 people. That was probably the most I could call.
Mm.
And I'd say, Nancy, this is Debbie. Do you know how much do you realize how much I care about you? And they'd be like, what do you mean? Why? That kind of thing. I say, because I've just learned about something that I really want you to know about, because this is extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. And I don't care what you do with it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I took it away a lot of times, but I'd really like you to learn about it because it's extraordinary and I think you'll find it fascinating. And it's in the health arena and it's something like I've never seen before. And you can say a cellular regeneration product technology that's 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. That's one of the scripts in Alan Noble's thing. I use that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've memorized it, so it just kind of falls out of my mouth.
Yeah, you gotta memorize it. Yep.
So
Gotta
if you've only got 10 minutes a day and you're really busy the rest of the day, if you just called 2 people, you'd be ahead of most people in network marketing. Because most people don't call 2 people a day.
no,
But
I
if
know.
you did that, you'd be that much more ahead and you'd have people coming in all the time
we know
because
that.
they'd be in the process.
I don't really call a lot of people. I do a lot of like messaging, or is that
Okay,
too
yeah.
informal? Is that not? Does that work too?
Well, I found that if I messaged somebody, I'd ask them to give me a call because I'd want them to hear the conviction in my voice. If I message somebody and I just say, hey, I'd really like you to learn about something, I don't know how they're going to take that because there's no tone involved.
Yeah.
You know, and it might work, especially for younger people like yourself, as well. But I know my friends needed to hear that, you know, I saw what I saw at that launch of I was at the launch of the product. I could not believe some of the things I saw. That's why we have people come to bigger events so they can see some of the things that are happening. Or go to See a Healthy Self and look at all the testimonials there. Some of them are extraordinary. I just put one on my on this page. This one. This man had, well, you know, you can tell that he had cancer and he had all that stuff taken off. And now look at his face at the very bottom. It's completely healed. They see things like that on that page. You better believe they're like, okay, what is this stuff? And you read the testimonial and, you know, he was beyond what to do. He didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
I read them too on Facebook. I read all the testimony, and I sometimes will show it to to friends of mine, show it to them. But somehow they don't take it seriously. I don't know why they don't.
Are you taking it seriously?
Who, me?
Yes.
Maybe not. I don't. Maybe not. I don't know yet. I'm not convinced 100% yet. That's probably what it is.
I'm all in.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know that it's working, but if I don't know what I want to do yet, it's a problem. Because
When you become convinced, they will become convinced.
yeah, I know that.
That's just it. I find the people that think this is expensive, that's what their objection is. I never thought it was expensive. I was totally broke when I started this. I just
Yeah.
never thought it was expensive, not for what it could do for people.
Yeah.
It gives people back their lives. We've seen people get out of wheelchairs with this.
Yeah. I guess I have to see what I want to do. Yes.
Just tell them how it's helping me.
Well, I tell them, but just they're looking at you like, oh yeah, oh okay,
But again, it's your posture and the way you're saying it. If you say, listen, I need your attention for 2 minutes. I want you to know what this has done for my son. And this is extraordinary. We never thought he would ever get off pain medication or he would start healing.
Yeah.
And this is bringing his body back to life.
Yeah.
And he has more energy. I mean, if you say it that way, they're going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to say yes,
Yeah.
but they will listen. And I guarantee you some people will get quite interested. And you can say it doesn't matter what kind of damaged cell it is. But I would think, so here's what Cindy did with me because she knew my potential. She called me every day at 11 to make sure I was on that charge up call. And I heard testimonial after testimonial after testimonial until there was no question in my mind what this product could do.
No medicine? Oh, Miralax. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So one of the things you might want to do is there's a place called chargeupcall.info. It will have 5 of the charge up calls on it, and they drop off every day. Go and listen to the first 5 minutes every day of the charge up call.
The charger call?
Yes. Here, let me show you again. I'll show you this. You go to your website, or you go to, your internet.
Yeah.
Oh, why is this not going fast at all? Go to chargeupcall.info. It brings up all the charge up calls for the past 5 days. So here's the one from today. Here's the one from yesterday. The one from the 12th, the 11th, the 10th. Okay, there's been some really good testimonials on it. Listen to the first 5 minutes. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
At least listen to the testimonials. When you hear what this has done for people,
Yeah.
you'll start having that posture, that conviction. You'll know what this does, and you'll want people that you love to hear about it.
Yep.
But then you have to let it go. As I was telling, one of my friends was so angry at her cousin because she died of cancer, and she bought the product and wouldn't take it. She was so angry, and I said, you have to let go of that anger. My sister is still not on this product, and I love her pretty much more than anybody, and she hasn't listened. I've let it go. There are some people that are meant to hear about this, and there are some people who aren't,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And you've got to let go of the anger and the, I know this would help you. Well, it's not going to help them because they're not going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So just let go of that. We always compare it to a flight attendant in the sky, and she's going down the aisle offering you peanuts or pretzels. She doesn't care if you take them or not. Not off her skin. So you have to be that way.
Yeah.
We went to dinner for my nephew's 16th birthday Sunday night, and afterward, my brother's girlfriend and daughter were like, "You look good, Robert. Like, you look like new. Like, I've never seen
You look
like
completely different than when I saw you."
Yeah, and I was like, "It's this stuff," and she was like, "You mean that stuff that your brother washes his car wheels with?"
Yeah, but I gave it to my other son, and he gave it back to me.
Right, and they'll do that
Now
until
his girlfriend is interested. His girlfriend, she's seen that how it worked, and that she wants to try it.
right.
Now it's okay if I give her my website for her to go and buy it, or
Of
do I
course.
have to go through different ways?
No, you can give her your website. Make sure she sees your name on the website. I've had
Yeah.
way too many problems I've had to fix recently. When somebody went to somebody else's website, and that's a real hassle, I can tell you.
Okay. I will tell her, make sure you see my name. Any question, to give me a call, call me. Just call me.
So
Right.
if you set up as an associate, you're doing the business then.
You don't have to still do the business at all, but
But you profit. You make some
But-
profit.
because I've got a lot of people who really don't tell anybody about it, but they're still an associate. That means they can literally go in anytime and order a product and get it for wholesale. If you're a preferred customer and you skip a month, you fall right back into retail customer. You can't get it for wholesale anymore.
Oh,
So associate is an easier way I think.
oh, I see. So you can always get it if it's wholesale. Yeah. Okay. Even if you
Exactly.
don't buy
So
it every time.
here's what I'm talking about. So if you have some of these articles around with you, and again, I can send these out if people want these.
Print
This
them out.
tells you that there's over 18,000 studies at PubMed. They see that this is a huge area of science, and 1,200 books that have been written about this. Here's the Lancet Medical Journal stating that type 2 diabetes, cancer, and brain disorders are the lack of redox signaling molecules. This was huge. Everybody knows who Dr. James Watson is. Here is the grant for the MUSC grant from NIH, giving them $10.5 million to open a redox research center. Here's the one at Cornell. Here's the one at, where is this? This is Harvard, I believe. And then this is Vanderbilt. You take some of these slides with you, and then here's the Redox World Congress. And you can literally have those in little sheets of paper in the sleeves, in the plastic sleeves, so that they don't get messed up, and say, here, this is how big this science is. We're the only ones in the world to have been able to make and stabilize it. And so you can actually have these in your body now, and this is what it's been doing for people. And then you could have before and after pictures, because this is part of my presentation. So you can print off, you know, these and show them all the different before and afters and say the same thing's happening inside of your body as outside. This was in 21 days.
Yeah.
You don't think her organs look good after she's been on this product? Her organs look amazing. And she's
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Here's more. And then here's Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
For goodness sakes, if you don't see the difference in the way she looks now and 3 years later,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's going to keep happening for you guys.
Yeah.
So cool.
Debbie, I like to tell people when I show that screen, I like to say, this is not mother and daughter. That's the same woman.
Exactly. Well,
It does.
you
It
see
looks
what I
like
put-
mother and daughter to me.
You see what I put on the slide. Shut the front door. This is the same woman.
Oh, now I see. I love that. I want that one.
That is on my thing, because you're just like, you can't believe that's the same person. But
Yep,
that
I
is
love
her.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Beautiful.
So you could, and then, you know, I mean, you don't have to carry this around with you, but I mean, literally rubbing it on 3 times in 5 minutes. We were just in Charlottesville, Virginia. All 17 people that came up in front all had responses with the Renew 28, and their pain either went to 0 or it went to 1 or 2 at the most. It was incredible. You do
Debbie,
that, Elena, several times, and you'll know that this product works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep rubbing it on
It
people.
works. I know. I believe that it works.
You didn't sound like it earlier.
You know what she said to you? I actually caught her saying this the other day. She said, this actually works better than Mary Kay. I've never
It
thought.
absolutely works better than Mary Kay. Mary Kay's the topping, the icing. This
Yeah.
is the foundation. This is
I
what makes a
put
firm,
Renew
delicious,
28.
moist cake.
Renew 28 first, and then I put my Mary Kay on top.
Exactly. There you go.
Debbie, can we have this? Debbie,
Yes, Lawrence.
can we have the slide of that? You just showed.
You want to see the slide again?
Yeah, because I've not seen an updated slide on this lady.
You want to see Rosie?
Oh yeah, that's her name, right?
Okay, that's Rosie.
Oh, okay. It's cut off, right? The top is.
Well,
is
from current slide here. That's what the slide looks like when I show it.
Oh, okay.
So she started this. Her son had an amazing. Her son was in a horrible car accident, and he took 600 pills a month.
Oh my.
And this got him off of all the pills and turned him back into. He looks better now than he did even before the accident. Anyway, this was his mother. She saw what this did for her son. She started taking it. She went back to him. She goes, "Son, I feel really good on this product, but I don't see a difference in the way I look." And he went, "Are you kidding, Mom?" And luckily he had taken a before picture and then took the after shot. And then, of course, they updating it. Here she is. This was at age 84. This was 7 weeks later, 86 and 87. And you can see a big difference in the way she looks.
Yeah, big time.
She just keeps getting better and better looking because she keeps healing.
So good. I was at the emergency room today because I had a bleeding urethra and they put a catheter in. And now that I think about it, like there was 2 older people that got out of a car, and I said a prayer for them, and I said, "Hey, I said a prayer for you guys." And then I'm thinking now, I'm like, I should have introduced them to this.
Well, and you'll do that, and you'll start thinking about it more and more. It takes a little while for it to come up. I mean, I think about it all the time. It kills me when people are talking about their issues and I can't say anything for some reason.
I know, me too, because I work at physical therapy and I want to taste so much, but I can't. I cannot say nothing because my boss doesn't want me to talk about anything that I sell.
Right. And I wouldn't, because that jeopardizes your job, but you can call
Yeah.
people afterwards. So
Yeah.
let me just ask, I'm going to go ahead and mute you guys again one real fast. We're at the top of the hour. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Judy, did you? No. Okay. You look like you raised your hand or something a minute ago.
Oh, I was, I'm gesturing at my cat.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry.
Yes, Diane. That's all right.
Debbie, where do we find these slides if we want to make copies? Like the picture
I
where
made
is
them. I
it?
have to send them to you. You want me to send them to you?
I would love that.
Okay.
Could
Do you
you
want the
include me too?
PowerPoint? Do you want the PowerPoint or do you want photographs?
I don't know. Are the photographs in the PowerPoint presentation? Oh, that's separate?
Well, you can copy them and make them. I made photographs first and then I put them in my PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. I guess the PowerPoint.
Okay. All right. Michael, did you say?
Yes, I would appreciate that too. I have
Okay.
a couple of the articles that you showed, but I don't have all of them. So if I could have a hand on that one, that would be great.
Okay. And the only thing I didn't put in is the Forbes thing. I was trying to make, I think I did make a photograph of that just recently too. So I can put that in there too.
Please.
Okay. Oh, there's a lot of chats. All right. And Buffy, if you're going to be around for a second, I need to call you after this. Are you still there? Yes, you're there. All right. Anyway, it's the top of the hour. There is a wonderful training by Jerem tonight. If you go to ASEAIntouch.com, you'll see our corporate leadership training tonight, if you would like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and end this so that